Hello and welcome back to Stomp City. Today I'm bringing you part 4 of the TEW 2016 new features. It's quite a long list today, so we're going to have to sort of just look over it quickly. I haven't really got time to read it all out. However, we will cover everything, so we'll just get started straight away. First off, the broadcasters has been overhauled, so there's now 4 different kinds of broadcaster, whereas previously I'm pretty sure there was only 2, with pay-per-view carriers and networks. So the 4 types are pay-per-view, which is obviously self-explanatory, commercial, which is just basically a TV channel, free-to-air, which is free online, I would imagine, a stream basically online, say Twitch or something similar. And then we have subscription, which is essentially the WWE Network, Netflix, everything like that. The requirements of each broadcaster are now editable. So, for example, minimum company size, minimum popularity that can join the network. Must cover home, yes or no, which means only companies that are based within the region that the broadcaster is shown is eligible. So if it was an American network wanting to show Japanese companies, they couldn't, even if they were big enough. You can also set it so broadcasters are less favourable to certain types of promotion, for example, hardcore. All this flexibility allows a much more free-flowing creation of a database where you can basically create whatever you would like. Secondly, we have broadcast deals part 1. They've been revamped, making them much more flexible and user-friendly than ever before. The television seasons no longer exist, so you can negotiate with television companies or broadcasters whenever you like. So that's really good. I'm happy about that. You can negotiate a length of contract or an exact number of episodes. So, for example, you could have a year contract where you could have Monday Night Raw is going to show every week, or you could have something like Lucha Underground where there's only a specific number of episodes per season, perhaps. There's also now a minimum quality expected value. So your shows must be a certain level or a certain grade. Otherwise, your networker will not be happy with you. So if you consistently upset your broadcaster with the standard of show, they can actually kick you off. Or just decide whether they want to renew your contract also. And it can have a huge effect on the other networks and how they view you as trustworthy or not. There's a patience stat within each network also. Annoyance can be set to 0 again, either when a new contract extension is signed or if the company requests to move to a worse time slot. Moving to a worse time slot means less revenue and less potential for audience growth for the company, but which means the minimum quality expected is lessened. So there is a trade-off involved. Also, there has to be a period of time where you drop down, and then to jump back up, you have to wait a certain period of time. When making broadcast deals, you can have them linked to general events or specific TV shows. A TV show is only on air if it is at least one active deal. When that show is held, it is automatically shown on all broadcasters who have the deal for it. However, events work slightly differently. When running an event, you get to choose exactly who, out of the broadcasters who have deals for it, will air it. This allows for ultimate flexibility. So that's nice to see. I would probably prefer to have an event on all of my networks, but sometimes. In fact, no, that's nice because you could have one that's on your free-to-air network. You could have one on your pay-per-view. So yeah, I like that. That makes complete sense. The only restriction is that broadcasters cannot clash. So you couldn't, for example, show the same event on an American pay-per-view broadcaster and an American commercial TV channel if they both cover the same regions. To confirm, there are no restrictions on what type of broadcaster can be used. For example, you can, if you want, sign a deal that sees your TV show appear on pay-per-view broadcaster and have all your events on a commercial broadcaster. So it's very flexible. One thing to note is that when you sign a deal, you are creating a legal requirement to complete it. If a contract expires and you haven't completed the number of episodes shows that you said you would, the broadcaster is able to take legal action for breach of contract, and you can end up with major legal fees. This stops players hogging all the best broadcasters by signing a bunch of contracts that they don't need. So this is another nice addition. In previous games, if a company was owned by a broadcaster or media group, then they were restricted to only being on air with that entity and were unable to look for further deals. By popular request, this restriction has been eased considerably, and companies can now search for deals with other broadcasters as long as they don't clash with the owner's coverage, which is a really nice addition. I remember I was playing as Ring of Honor and I couldn't expand globally because I was owned by an American network. So I actually, in the end, made it so I wasn't owned by the network and I could just go anywhere. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. It's nice to see that's finally been added. So just a quick one where the AI broadcaster switching has been upgraded just so the companies are more clever within the game of where they're going to seek out, what networks they're going to seek out, and where they need to expand. You can also make broadcaster changes via the editor within the game. So this is just, so you can, for historic mods, if you want to have things happen how they happen in real life, or if you want to cheat, I don't know. I wouldn't advise that though, cheating is bad. So now you can see the exact number of viewers that you've got on your TV shows or your pay-per-views instead of just a number of rating. So you can see exactly how many people watched your show, which is nice. Of course, just any more detail like that is obviously welcome. And this is a huge one as well. Again, I was really hoping this would make it, and I'm glad it has. You can make your own broadcaster as a company. So if you're WWE, you can own the WWE network, of course, which would be under subscription. You can make any type, apparently, of network that you require. However, each company can only have one custom broadcaster. And these broadcasters that you own can actually have your child company on it. So, for example, the WWE could host NXT shows on its subscription service, just like they do in real life, with obviously WWE NXT, which shows weekly. Obviously, this one relates to a previous change that was in episode 1 or 2, possibly. I don't know. You'd have to go back and look. Where it's the importance of hiring local workers has been risen, especially if you're a small company. And there is now a button to say hire local, so you can sort of filter through who's in your area, which obviously makes sense as a natural thing to add along with that feature. So obviously that's fine. And you can also now search by language or race within the filters as well for when you're looking for workers. So I think overall, especially, there's a lot of additions to networks, and I'm very happy with the fact that you can have your own network. I really, really like that. So you can obviously have your WWE network. You can have NXT on the WWE network. So yeah, I'm really pleased about that. I am, however, waiting to hear more about the development systems. I'm hoping that there's a button. Say you're on your booking screen and you can see the list of your wrestlers. So hopefully there's a button that says show developmental wrestlers, so you can have someone that's on your NXT on your main show for a night. I think because if say you wanted your NXT champion on Raw, you would have to call him up, and that would take the championship off him. So I do hope they add that. I did read from Adam Ryland that he has improved a lot on the developmental system. I'm pretty sure I read that anyway. I might be tripping. But yeah, that's just one thing I want to see in the future. That's probably the main thing, really. A lot more free-flowing interaction between your main shows and your developmental, which obviously has started to take steps towards with the fact that it can be on your broadcaster. But yeah, for this episode, I'm just going to ask you what features you want to see added. So maybe give me one idea in the comments below. I'd be interested to hear about that. Subscribe for more TEW 2016, WWE 2K16 and general wrestling content. And until next time, peace.